I'm gonna help you see if you could go and find a dental school here in the United States, and also specifically in the state of California. You're finding out here at UOP, this is a 2-year program, whereas if you went to UCSF, this is now a 3-year program. So you're gonna have to choose. Am I gonna go to a program that is 2 years, or am I gonna go to a program that is 3 years? The most important part of applications is the preparation. You wanna make sure that you've got all your test scores correctly, all your credentials intact, because if you are gonna have to go ahead you have to go to this one particular site where you have to put all your application in, and it's called the IDEA. Dr. Paulos, a practicing dentist in the United States, a practicing dentist in California. We live in the Bay Area, and if I was going to apply to an international trained dentist program to be a licensed dentist in the United States, I am going to start here in California. This is where I live. This is where I want to be. This is where I want to practice dentistry. And so I will start here. When you're applying to dental schools, you do not need to be applying to multiple schools. You just want to make sure that you have a plan on the application process. You also do not want to just apply to one dental school. You want to make sure that you know the dental school that you want to apply to, and then go after those dental schools so that you could go ahead and have a good chance in getting accepted to that program. What you want to do is pick a handful of dental school. One of the things that you want to do is find out where is it that you want to practice dentistry. In this situation, I'm going to help you see if you could go and find a dental school here in the United States, and also specifically in the state of California. In the state of California, there are 7 dental schools. 6 of these schools have programs for internationally trained dentists. Now, I'm in Northern California. I am going to go ahead and pick 2 dental schools here that offers a program to train international dentists. They have the University of Pacific, which is a private school, and we also have the University of California, San Francisco. Now, where do you start? Now, if you go ahead and go to Google and just Google these schools, they're going to provide you with all the information that you need to apply to the dental school. If you were to go into the UCSF School of Dentistry site, you will notice that they call this program, they call it IDP program. They used to call these programs Advanced Standing Program for international dentists to be trained. But then the way that they have it now, they're calling it IDP, which stands for International Dentist Pathway. Now, if I was to go ahead and go to the University of the Pacific, let me see what they call it now. IDS. Now, what does that stand for? That is standing for International Dental Study Program. International Dental Studies Program. You've got 2 universities in Northern California. You've got UOP and you've got UCSF. They've got at UOP International Dental Studies Program, IDS. And they've got in UCSF, they've got International Dental Pathway. Now, what are the differences in these programs? Like you're finding out here at UOP, this is a 2-year program. Whereas if you went to UCSF, this is now a 3-year program. So you're gonna have to choose. Am I gonna go to a program that is 2 years, or am I gonna go to a program that is 3 years? Now, if I was to go ahead and look at UOP, their program is in 2 locations. One is in Sacramento, which is in the Central Valley of California. And the other part of that program, parts of the students that are gonna be taking this program, is in the San Francisco campus. So you've got 2 sets of students who are going to be going to the Sacramento site, and they're also going to be going to the San Francisco site, it looks like here. They look like they are in the class of 2027. They've got 57 seats, it looks like, and then with a TOEFL score of 105 and an average GPA of 3.5. UCSF has got a 3-year program here, and you know, you have to decide here, are you going to go to a 2-year program at UOP, or are you going to decide to take that 3-year program at UCSF in the Parnassus Clinic? So these are the things that in the beginning you have to decide to when you want to apply. But the question then becomes, do I want to go to UOP or do I want to go to UCSF? That's assuming that you get accepted to these 2 schools. Now, when you're applying to these 2 schools, you're not necessarily choosing particularly one before the other. You're going to be choosing, if you get into both, which programs you want to do. So most of the time, students are just wanting to get in. And so that's where we're at in this process is, are you actually prepared to start applying to these schools? The most important part of applications is the preparation. You want to make sure that you've got all your test scores correctly, all your credentials intact, because if you are going to have to go ahead you have to go to this one particular site where you have to put all your application in, and it's called the IDEA. So when you're applying to dental schools, you're going to have to apply through a centralized location, and that location, which makes it a little easier to apply to multiple dental schools, that location would be what they call now ADEA. Now, what does that stand for? ADEA. That stands for the American Dental Education Association. Now, that particular site has what they call a CAPID application process, and the CAPID stands for Centralized Application for Advanced Placement for International Dentists. So this is a site where you could put all your credentials in. This is a site where all the information that you've got, so that you could go ahead and apply to the dental school of your choice, and making sure that they go into one centralized location. So after that process, you're gonna pick what schools you want these applications to be pushed into. Like in this situation, we are gonna be giving information on 2 dental schools to make it simple, the UCSF Dental School and also the University of Pacific Dental Schools. Like again, you wanna make sure that you're picking particular dental schools that you actually wanna go to. You don't want to just go and apply to multiple dental schools where you are just bombarded with all the application process and all the funds that you gotta pay for to just do the application process. Because this CAPID, this ADEA CAPID application is just the first part of the application process. What you want to do is make sure that you are organized together all the information, be able to submit it to this application process, and then start deciding on which schools you want to get into. So now the question then becomes, once I've decided that I'm going to go and apply to these particular schools, how do I strengthen my application so that I can be accepted in these programs? Now, the first part is already done in terms of your credentials. You've got your GPA, where at UOP, University of Pacific, they're looking at a 3.5 average. You just want to make sure that you're that average and above. Now, the other one would be making sure that you got your national board scores and also the English proficiency test. And at University of Pacific, their averaging scores are 105 scores. So those are the things that you can be doing before you apply to the dental school, so that make sure that you've got good credentials and good test scores. And then the question then becomes is, what can you do to strengthen your application process? This is when you've got your application in, you've got to make sure that you are preparing yourself for the process of getting into the dental schools. Now, what do you need to do that? You want to make sure that you are getting all the experience that you can get in a dental office or dental clinic in the United States so that you know how to treat and see patients the way that the United States dentists would do that here in California, especially if you want to go and practice here in California. You also want to make sure that you are getting to know the dentist that you are working with so that they could go ahead and know you and know your goals so that they could make sure that they are writing you a good letter of recommendation. The other thing that you want to do is prepare that personal statement so that the dental admissions committee knows what your goals are and where have you been and where you would like to go. So these are the things that you are preparing yourself so that once you get interviewed for the dental school of your choice, you are prepared to make sure that they know who you are and who you would like to become as a dentist here in the United States. So what you want to do is make sure that you're preparing yourself to get into the dental school. Make sure that you are prepared to put all that credentials that you've got in the application process so that you could go ahead and stand out amongst all the applications that are submitted to that particular dental school. So make sure in this situation when you're applying is be prepared, know where you want to go. Make sure that you are clicking and subscribing to our YouTube channel, and be sure to watch our next videos so that you can get more information on how to get into the dental school of your choice here in California and here in the United States.